Good afternoon. My name is Phillip Barrett, and I'm a freshman here. I'm from Columbia, South Carolina. The title of my speech is, What is Me? Earlier this week, around Wednesday night, I began to prepare a speech to deliver to you today. And the speech that I prepared was absolute garbage. It was terrible. I didn't like it. The speech ended up being about things I like, or my characteristics, my accolades, and a few girls in my past that I met. When I was delivering the speech to my roommate for practice, I realized that the speech wasn't about me. It had to do with things relative to my life. It had to do with things, that I've done, and things like that, but it wasn't really about me. And I started to think. I was like, what is me? Or what am I? And as I was contemplating and trying to figure out what I was, and listening to my roommate talk about how I never really listened to him, which I found very ironic, I figured that all that I am, I'm merely a consciousness that has the capabilities of reacting to environmental stimuli and making observations and analyzing things. So I did some more thinking. I was like, let me make a speech about a consciousness. And I thought, well, that's way too deep for me to write a speech about and speak about it in only 7 minutes. So what I figured I would do is speak about things that cause me to react the most, or things that I observe a lot, or things I like to analyze. For an example, I have a nephew. My nephew's name is Parker Joseph Long, and he's around 8 or 9 now, I believe. I was 8 years old when he was born. And when my sister was pregnant, I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I said, my sister's going to have a baby, and I'm going to be an uncle. And I'm going to teach him everything I know. I'm going to impart so much wisdom on this young child that he's going to be a sage of life by the time he's 10 years old. Then my nephew started talking, and I hated him. Like, I can't stand the kid to this day. And I always tell my mom and my sister, I'm like, hey, whenever I start to think that I'm ready for life, I'm growing up, I start thinking, sex and food, and maybe I want a job, and I might even get a girlfriend, and things like that. I started thinking about my nephew, and I'm like, nah, I'm not ready for life yet, and we laugh about it. And I always tell him that he helps me make many life decisions when I'm out and about, and there's like an attractive young female there. And I was like, okay, wait, no part. So that's all fine and dandy, and we laugh, but the real reason that in a speech about myself, I'm speaking about my nephew, is that my nephew is a part of every aspect of my life. And when I say this, I mean that prior to my nephew's existence, whenever I would make a decision, I would think about 3 people when making this decision. Me, myself, and I. And before you think I'm selfish, I'm going to explain myself. When I thought about me, I thought about a younger version of myself, child Phil. And when I made decisions, I would think, I'm going to make a decision that a younger Phil could eye over his life after, a younger Phil could look up to and want to be like. When I think about myself, I think about me in the current state. I like to have fun and do irrational things. And you have that. And then when I think about I think about myself as an adult, or an older version of me, and I want to make decisions that I can look back on and be proud of. But when my nephew came around, he took the place of me, the younger me. So now when I make decisions and everything I do in life, I always think about my nephew. And I'm thinking, what can I do that my nephew can look up to in this situation that he will idolize and model his life after? Because I believe in a modern society, in the current day and age, if you're a smart person, you can pretty much logically justify just about anything that you do, whether it's right or wrong. If you have an excuse or a mission or anything like that, you can explain it. If you're very smart, you can convince others that what you're doing is right, and you can probably convince them to do it as well. But when you factor in things like children or younger siblings, or in my case, a nephew, you start to make decisions that are morally just. And whether you can logically explain it or not doesn't really matter anymore. But when you have the gut feeling, the inherent feeling of something being right or wrong, you choose the right choice because you know that younger person is looking. And earlier I told you about my consciousness, or me as a consciousness, and all I can do is react and observe and analyze. I've developed a fondness of observing, of observation, and analyzing things. And this fondness has turned into experimentation, and that can be for the better or worse in my life. I start to live my life in what if or if then scenarios. So, irrational decisions like, what if I were to come to the Citadel? Like, what if I were to Vietnam? Or what if I were to come make a speech in front of the Toastmasters Club or something like that? Or what if I were to jump off the building? I never considered that one. I've never done it, as you can see on here today. But things like that. And this series of what if, the what if way of living, landed me in Paris, France, for spring break 2016, this year. I'm like, what if I go to Paris? And I'll tell you what if you go to Paris. I went to Paris, and within the first 3 hours of Paris, I got lost by myself in the city of Paris. And I was, Notre Dame is what they call it. I got lost, and I was near that place, and I found that. And I was like, wow, it's a castle, but I'm lost. I saw and spoke to some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life. They didn't speak back to me because they spoke French and not English, but that sucks. And then I got my phone stolen by grandmothers, a group of them, in a subway who just happened to have their grandchildren present. And I'm willing to bet that those kids are the ones who snatched my phone. But anyway, when I was there, I had the time of my life without a cell phone. I didn't even get a track phone or anything like that. I had an iPad. And so at night, using my Wi-Fi, I'd call my mom. It'd be like 2 in the morning, and it'd be 6 here or something like that. And I'd call her and talk to her. That was the only technology I had. And a GoPro, I recorded all. So without this phone, without access to technology, like readily in my pocket, I realized I was having the time of my life. And I observed that, and when I started to analyze it, I realized that when I was there, the reason I was having the time of my life is that I enjoyed fellowship. And, I cherish meeting new people and observing like different cultural perspectives and things that they do in their lives that are different than the way I live my life. So pretty much in wrapping up, me as a consciousness, I do observe, I react, and I like to analyze. And the things I like to observe are reading women don't speak English, and my habits when I'm in Paris, and things I like to react to is decisions when thinking of my nephew, and things I like to analyze are the things that make me me. So there you have it. That is what me is. Thank you.